Hi everybody, my name is Toni and I'm here with the Everyday Counts program, and I'm going to be talking to you today a little bit about the central nervous system and breathwork, guiding you through a few breathwork practices that you're welcome to simply listen along with, or you can participate if you'd like. And some breathwork will work for you and some won't. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Just try and figure out what feels good for you and use it as a tool in your everyday life to find little bits of calm. Thank you for listening along. So, what is breath work? Humans can survive for quite a while without food. We can survive a few days without water, but we can only survive a few minutes without breath. And mostly our breath is unconscious. We don't notice we're breathing, our body breathes for us. It's an autonomic system. But it's also a system we can override, unlike the beating of our heart or digesting of our food, which we don't have any control over. Breathing, we can change. And this leads us to breath work, to intentional or conscious breath. And that guides us to feeling different ways. In fact, there's been a lot of research over the last 10 to 15 years about breath work and how it can affect us. And it's mostly tied to our central nervous system. Our central nervous system is made up of two activations. One is the sympathetic nervous system, which I'll be using the word stress response, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. Fight, flight, and freeze. You may have heard those terms. And the other system is the parasympathetic nervous system, and I'll be referring to that as this peace response. And I'd like you to consider that these two responses in our central nervous system are less like a light switch where we turn one on and one off. It's more like a sliding scale with the peace response at one end and the stress response at the other. And at any given time, we can slide up and down that scale. So before we go any further, let's get right into the breath work. So today I'm going to be guiding you through different practices. Feel free to just listen or participate as much or as little as you like. There's no right and wrong way of doing this. And if you find yourself distracted and thinking about other things at any time, know that that's perfectly normal. And when you're ready, simply guide your awareness back to my voice and the guidance and instructions. So when you're ready, allowing yourself to settle into a comfortable place, whatever that means for you. And you don't have to be sat in a particular posture. You can be lying down or simply in your favorite place. Settle yourself in. When you're ready, take a full breath in. And on the exhale, you can go ahead, soften your gaze, lower your gaze, or close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so. And when you're ready, just simply notice all the places that your body is supported underneath you, all the surfaces that hold you. Notice, without judgment, simply how you feel in this moment. Trying to stay away from the stories as to why, and just simply notice how you're feeling. Notice if there's a lot on your mind. Again, welcoming everything that's present. And then notice how your physical body is feeling. You can even take your awareness to the crown of your head and slowly allow your awareness to drop down through your body, noticing places of tension, tightness, or discomfort. But also pay attention to the places that feel easeful, comfortable, and quieter, less familiar. Until you finally allow your awareness in your own time settle down to the soles of your feet. Making any small adjustments that you need to find yourself even 1% more comfortable. And when you're ready, simply noticing your breath as it is. Noticing whether you're breathing in and out through your mouth, nose, or both. And consider bringing your lips softly together if you haven't already, and start to breathe in and out through your nose, but only if it's comfortable for you. Notice the rhythm of your breath. There's no right and wrong way to breathe. Just simply observe. And consider allowing the inhale and exhale to become just a little longer. Without any forcing, simply allowing your inhales and exhales to become a tiny bit longer. Knowing that at any time, if you become uncomfortable, come back to the easiest breath you can find. With those longer inhales and exhales, now start to cultivate a smoother breath from the bottom of the inhale all the way to the top, and from the top of the exhale all the way down to the bottom, as if you are ironing out any creases or bumpiness in the breath as best as you can. So the breath itself becomes steadier. With these longer, smoother breaths in and out, now I invite you to bring in a quality of softness to the breath. Maybe letting some effort go, even if it means letting the breath become smaller. So we release all forcing, and the breath becomes longer, smoother, and softer, both on the inhale and the exhale. Another 3 breaths just like that. And after your last exhale, simply allow the breath to come back to its own natural rhythm. And when you're ready, notice how you feel. Notice how your mind feels and your body resting where it is. Take a full mindful breath in. On the exhale, allowing your breath to sweep away like a sigh. And in your own time, lift your gaze or open your eyes and become aware of the space around you. Longer, smoother, softer breaths in and out through the nose are a wonderful way of calming down the nervous system. Breathing in and out consciously through the nose allows the nervous system to go from the stress response and activate the peace response. And let's take a little look at those two different systems. So starting with the stress response, otherwise called fight, flight, and freeze response. It's there to protect us from real physical dangers. We need the stress response. And here are a few things that happen to our bodies when the stress response activates. Our heart rate increases, and it pumps blood to our extremities in preparation for fight or flight. As blood is pumped to the extremities, our digestion slows or halts. There's no need to digest food if we're about to be eaten by a bear. So the stomach and pancreas function decrease. The stress response stimulates glucose into the liver for energy. Our muscles contract and our senses heighten to our surroundings. The focus is entirely on ourselves and our survival. Our immune function slows or stops for the same reason. Eyes dilate to take in our surroundings. Adrenal glands work overtime to flood us with adrenaline, which normally produces hormones that regulate growth, sleep, mood, metabolism, and fertility. Cortisol, the stress hormone, floods the body from our endocrine system. Sexual desire and fertility decreases. And normally, when the stressful situation is over, our response lessens and we start to calm down. And so, the peace response. What happens to our body when we start to relax? Pupils contract and start to be able to focus. Our heart rate slows and blood pressure drops. Digestion is stimulated. The stomach and pancreas go back to functioning normally. Sexual desire and fertility is stimulated and an aid to both reproduction and connecting to our loved ones. Sleeping and resting becomes easy. Our muscles relax. We have lowered sensory input. Rational and focused thinking comes back online, and we start to focus on others rather than ourselves. The vagus nerve is also stimulated, which is in charge of recognizing facial patterns and voice recognition and expression. Ideally, we have an autonomic nervous system that responds to our environment in a healthy way. However, when we feel chronic stress, we can no longer find a healthy balance between rest and digest and fight and flight response. And that's when we talk about chronic stress. when we constantly live in the stress response, a number of things happen. So let's look at all that again in a chronic state. Our heart rate increases, spiking our blood pressure, and it doesn't have a chance to recover anymore. Because blood is pumped to our extremities in preparation for fight and flight, our digestion slows or halts. The stomach and the pancreas and intestine and colons, in fact, our entire metabolism slows or stops. We start to absorb less and less nutrients, so our body doesn't get what it needs. We either experience diarrhea or constipation, weight gain, stomach ulcers, and many more things. Nausea and reduced appetite happens as the brain becomes hyper alert to responses, giving us those butterfly feelings. Contracted muscles over a prolonged period of time makes them ache, fatigue, and weaken. Our heightened senses allow us to experience hyperarousal, where every noise makes us jump and every light feels a little too bright. We focus on ourselves and our survival, leading to feelings of isolation and being overwhelmed as we share nothing. Our immune function slows and stops for the same reason. A constantly lowered immune system leaves us open to infection and viruses, stopping the body from naturally healing ourselves. And in case of treatment that chronically lowers our immune system, we're left with less than no defenses. Adrenal glands work overtime to flood us with adrenaline, so we start to experience adrenal fatigue, lessening the production of hormones that regulates growth, sleep, mood regulation, and our metabolism and fertility. Stress taxes the hormone production in your adrenal glands and wipes out your energy levels with high cortisol levels to give us extra sugar for energy. Normally, if this decreases when we reabsorb the sugar into the body. However, with chronic levels of stress, where we keep producing high sugar levels, this leads to a high susceptibility to diabetes. Cortisol flooding the body from our endocrine system, sexual response, and fertility decreases. We feel isolated, like it's all on our shoulders, as the vagus nerve starts to shut off, where we recognize facial patterns and voice recognition and expression. Without this, we actually fail to recognize social signals and tonal cues in people's voices. What happens when this is reduced? We start to feel isolated, like we're not connecting to those around us. Over time, this can spur depression, loss of connection, irritability, alienation, apathy. These are just a few of the things that happen with this chronic stress. And we can experience some or all of these things, or completely different things like skin irritations, sweating, panic attacks, and much more. Moreover, we know that not only being in a stressful situation stimulates the stress response. In fact, just thinking about something that worries you will stimulate the exact same places of your brain as if you are actually in that situation. So imagining you're being chased by a bear, or reliving an argument with somebody you're close to, or even imagining an argument will elicit the exact same response in your brain as the actual situation. Our imagination is that powerful. Here is our next guided breath work. Allowing yourself to settle in and get comfortable. Maybe softening your gaze or closing your eyes. And when you're ready, start to take a few mindful breaths here, in and out. Every breath allowing you simply be aware of this moment. Your body resting in the support underneath it. Starting to pay attention to your inhale and your exhale. Noticing the gentle rhythm of your breath. Allowing your breath to be just as it is. No need to change a thing. Tuning your awareness into the sound of your breath and the sound of your exhale all the way down to the bottom. Noticing the difference in the sound of the inhale and the difference in the sound of the exhale. You may even start to imagine that the sound of your breath could be exactly the sound of the waves coming in and out gently on the ocean shore. You might even be able to visualize the gentle, soft waves rolling in and out on the beach. Listening to the sound of the breath coming in and out. Imagining the waves coming in and out on the shore. And allowing those waves to come and go in your own pace, your own rhythm. Allowing those soft, gentle waves to smooth away all of your thoughts as they simply come and go, as they ebb and flow. Following the sound of your ocean breath. In and out. You can follow this breath for as long as you like. Soothing ocean breath. So, with chronic stress levels, add a global pandemic to that, and it's a perfect soup to allow us to feel chronic fatigue and stress. But there is good news. Most of these actions are involuntary. However, breathing works in tandem with the conscious mind and the body, and it's one of the fastest ways we have to stimulate the peace response. We have this amazing tool to recognize and learn, first, how we experience stress, and recognize when we're experiencing stress. And we can learn breath work to tip the balance back, to stimulate the peace response. But the first thing to do is to get quiet enough to be able to recognize if we're experiencing stress. Here is another breath meditation. This is a chest, ribs, and belly breath. One of the best breaths we have available to stimulate the peace response. Feel free to listen or follow along. Allow yourself to settle into a place that you feel the most comfortable. This breath work and meditation is often easiest when we're reclined or lying down. So settle yourself in. Noticing all the places that your body is supported underneath you. Take a full breath in when you're ready. And exhale, allow your body to sink a little deeper into that support. When you're ready, take your awareness into your upper chest and heart space. And you're welcome to place one or both hands on your upper chest and heart space in a place that's comfortable for you. And if it feels better to prop your elbows so you can rest here, then go ahead and do that using pillows or cushions or folded blankets or towels. One or both hands or your awareness resting in your chest and heart space. Starting to focus on your breath now. Allowing your inhale to get a little longer, along with your exhale. Steadying your breath out on the inhale and the exhale. And start to notice the rise and fall in your upper chest and heart space as the breath comes in and leaves. The inhale, the chest will rise and expand as the lungs fill with air, and the exhale as the lungs allow the air to leave. They soften and relax. And start to notice the movement of your chest and heart space. And if you have one or both hands on your chest and heart space, notice how your hand moves with the breath. steady breaths in and out. Steady movements with the upper chest and heart space. You're welcome to stay here with your awareness, or one or both hands on your chest and heart space, watching the breath in the body. Or you can take one or both hands down onto your front lower ribs, allowing the palms of your hands to cup your front lower ribs. Sending the breath now all the way down into the palms of your hands and your front lower ribs. Noticing how on the inhale, the ribs flare up and out. On the exhale, they soften and relax. And if this feels less comfortable than focusing on your upper chest and heart space, you're welcome to go back to where works for you. Otherwise, breathing right into the palms of your hands. Slow and steady breaths, noticing how your body responds to your breath as it comes and goes, as it ebbs and flows. And you are welcome to stay with your awareness or your hands on your front lower ribs. Or take one or both hands, or simply your awareness onto your belly, your soft belly. And imagine in your belly there's a balloon. On the inhale, the belly expands, the balloon inflates. And on the exhale, the balloon deflates as the belly softens. Breathing right into your palms or your belly. Allow the breath to be as easy and steady as possible. It doesn't have to be a huge movement in the belly, but notice as it rises and falls. Steady, mindful breaths, belly breaths. Slow and steady. And the belly isn't really taking in air. It's simply, as we breathe into our lower lungs, the diaphragm pushes down to make way for the air in the bottom of our lungs, pushing down into the belly, lifting the belly up. And on the exhale, as the diaphragm pushes the air out of the lungs, it rises and the belly softens. Follow the flow of breath in and out. Belly breaths. And you might even notice how on the inhale the belly lifts, the ribs expand, the upper chest and heart space inflates. And on an exhale there's a softening and a letting go. Allow allow the breath to be as easy and flowing as possible with as little effort as you can. Noticing the wave of breath in your body as the breath comes and goes. You may even notice where you feel the breath the most in your body. You can stay here, following your breath for as long as you would like. Or at the end of your next exhale, simply release your hands and allow your breath to come back to its own natural, easy rhythm. Noticing how you feel. This 3-part belly breath is one of the most soothing breaths for the nervous system. Just 10 belly breaths relaxes the stress response and starts to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the relaxation response. You can use this breath at any time in your day or even in the middle of the night to calm yourself. So, you had the opportunity to listen along or follow a few breath practices. And breath work is different for each of us, and it changes all the time. So, finding something or a practice that could work for you, even just 10 breaths, 10 longer, steadier, more mindful breaths can activate the peace response. So, at any point during your day or night, you could play with some of these breath practices, adapt them and change them so they work for you a little better. And then you've cultivated tools that you can help yourself at any point during your day or night to allow yourself to reduce the stress response, activate the peace response, and try and cultivate little moments of calm for you. I'll leave you with one last practice. Thank you for listening along. Settling in to the surfaces underneath you as best as you can. And if you want to find a nicer or more comfortable place, then go ahead and do that now. Adjusting any pillows underneath your head, clothing, or the way that you're sitting to add even 1% more comfort. And when you're settled, take a full breath in. And on that long, slow exhale, soften or lower the gaze, or even close your eyes if you're comfortable. turn your awareness inside. And once again, notice how you're feeling. Notice what's on your mind. Notice how your body feels in this moment. Release any tension that you can by simply shifting or moving or taking a few mindful breaths. And when you're ready, drift your awareness simply to your breathing. Considering breathing in through the nose and out through the nose if that's comfortable for you. And if it's not, no big deal. Start to settle your breath to longer, more mindful breaths in and out, with no particular goal in mind, no right or wrong way to breathe. Your natural rhythm. When you're ready, on the inhale, silently to yourself, say the sound so, S-O, and on the exhale, hum, H-U-M, hum. Inhale, so, exhale, hum. So, hum. Inhale, so, exhale, hum. This is a mantra, literally translated as a tool for the mind to focus on. So, hum. With the rhythm of your inhale and exhale. Start to blend the sound so to the sound of your inhale and the sound hum to the sound of your exhale. So, hum. Use the sounds for the length of your inhale and the length of your exhale in your own way. No right and wrong. Make it as comfortable for yourself as possible. No forcing of the breath. Easy breath. So, hum. So, hum is said to be the sound of the breath itself. Blending so, hum with the sound of your inhale and exhale. So hum. Allow this mantra to continue for as long as you like. At any time you want to finish your practice, simply allow the sound to dissolve away like sugar in water. Bring your awareness to the surroundings around you, the surfaces underneath your body. Taking one or two deeper breaths in and longer breaths out. Opening your eyes or lifting your gaze when you're ready, and noticing how you feel. Take your time. Thank you for listening.